Okay, cool. Right, let's do this. In about 3 seconds. 2, 1, now. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Radical 2.4 hours of Laguna Seca for our one-off endurance event to win ourselves, or yourselves even, a rFactor 2 key for life. I am Matt, and Danny is of course joining me in the commentary box for the next 2 and a bit hours.
Hello Matt, long time no RCL.
Indeed, indeed. Still no idea when that's coming back, but right now that's not on drivers' minds. They have got Laguna Seca to contend with, which is going to be an interesting challenge on its own, let alone throwing in these radical cars.
Indeed, as we can see on the onboard feed, Mora and the T feed just going down the corkscrew, a really difficult part of the track, or the most difficult part of the track I should say.
It is indeed, especially you kind of got to brake whilst going uphill and turning over a crest as well. So that's not fun.
Well, it should be for the people watching.
Well, yes, true. We've got just over 9.5 minutes left of the qualifying session at the minute, and then it shall be a 5-minute warm-up session, and then straight into the action. But it is indeed a long time since we had any racing, and this is a good way to kick off the year, I think.
Yeah, it's a pity we don't have a bigger grid tonight.
There are only 6 of us taking part. Lopez has just got stuck behind, I've forgotten his name already. Morad, that was. Latifi. Don't think he was on a lap though. And in fact, I'm looking at the wrong drivers. That makes no sense at all.
Having some technical issues already.
Indeed.
Well, I guess better to have them all now and not in the race.
Hopefully. Alright, so with 8 minutes remaining, it is looking like Siggy from Lopez Svedinstov, Latifi, Wendt, Langhans are the grid so far. 8 seconds between them. And funnily enough, none of these drivers are actually taking part in RCL, so it's going to be interesting to see what sort of abilities they have.
Indeed. We were expecting James Reed, who originally signed up for the event, but for some reason he's not with us tonight in the end.
I think it's 7 in the morning where he is, so I'm not surprised.
Indeed. Kevin Siggy on a personal best lap.
He's already on pole. How much further ahead is he going to get though?
1:16.4.
0.7 seconds quicker then. So that gives him an advantage of 1.4 seconds to Lopez. Field fairly spread out so far.
I've had quite a bit of experience with these cars over the past few months, and I think my personal best lap on this track was something like a 1:17.9 or a 1:18. So that shows you the sort of level Kevin Siggy is at.
Depends on...
Or it puts me to shame as well.
I was going to say it depends on what sort of pace he can maintain through the race though. Rather than just doing a one random 1:16 lap.
True. I mean, it's not a sprint race, it's pretty much an endurance race.
As he goes out for another lap.
Probably not the longest of endurance races when we speak of endurance racing, but certainly longer than the usual day-by-day races.
Lopez does 1:18.8, doesn't improve from second. Latifi is about to finish his lap. What can he do here? It's going to be quite a decent lap actually, 1:18.5, and it moves him up into third. So it's Siggy from Lopez, from Latifi, from Svidinstov, from Wendt, and then Langhaus so far. Langhaus is just about to finish off his lap. Personal best in the first and second sector. Seems to be struggling though. He does a 25.028, that is his personal best lap though, but he needs to find some sort of pace from somewhere. See what Wendt can do. He's not gone anything special in sector 1. 2 is a personal best, into the corkscrew we go. Car sliding around a hell of a lot from the onboard camera. That's the thing with these cars, they don't seem to have a lot of rear end grip at low speeds.
Indeed. They're the type of car that I kind of say that they're easier to drive fast than actually slow.
Yep. Wendt just did a 19.6, which didn't improve. In fact, it was about 0.9 seconds off his best actually. Siggy is Siggy on a lap at the minute because he's gone purple in sector 1. He is on a lap. Sector 2 even, he's gone purple. As Lopez has just spun it somewhere out on the track.
Is Siggy gonna improve even more?
It's looking like it so far, and he does a 1:16.487. He lost time then. Two minutes to go. Wendt's gone personal best in sector 2. He was not too far off in sector 1, about half a second I think, and it's the end of his lap anyway because he's gone straight on there. See what Langhaus can do, struggling at the minute. He hasn't improved in sector 1 either, he's quite a way off the pace.
Kevin improving ever so slightly. approaching the final hairpin.
Purple sector
Across
2.
the line, and he does actually improve by 0.1. So that's a 116.3.
Langhands was pitted, so that's the end of his session. Latifi, I don't think he's going to get around for another lap.
Kevin won't be doing another lap. Fran Lopez seems to be warming up the tyres to have a final try.
Svidensdov has just started his final lap. I'm so sorry about butchering your name.
I bet you don't pronounce most of them letters.
How's he doing as we come up to sector 2 then? He's 1.4 off, but it is actually a personal best so far for him in sector 2.
That car pretty much took off over that crest.
What can Svidensdov do in the final corner and down the start-finish straight then? This is his last chance to get higher than third on the grid. Is it going to get him higher than third on the grid? He needs to beat a 1 minute 1 minute 17 even. And he stays in third despite going the fastest we've seen through sector 3. Franz Lopez has just gone the fastest we've seen through sector 3 and improves.
Not that far from Lopez then.
No, there's 0.8 seconds between them. Latifi was only 0.2 behind Svidensdov as well. So we shall now have a short intermission of 5 minutes whilst drivers get their last chance to do whatever they need to do before the next 2.5 hours. So I suppose we'll have a quick discussion about how qualifying went, and it looks like so far Siggy is well on course to get a good lead in this race to begin with, at least.
What's the shortcut on your UI to bring up the standings?
It is a button such as Alt and H, maybe? It's not Alt and H. It's not Alt and S either. I've actually forgotten half the bloody key buttons.
It's not like you designed it and wrote it.
I know, right? I don't know anymore.
I know the Z, X, C and V change their best laps and stops and whatnot.
Yeah. I thought it was Alt and H for standings, perhaps not.
Maybe it doesn't work in warm-up.
Maybe. I wonder if it's been programmed. I don't know.
Oh well, what discussion were you about to?
Yes, I was just about to say about strategies and stuff, but I'm not sure how much fuel these cars can hold.
Well, we did do a few test races, remember? And biggest tyre wear was the front right. It's kind of obvious, all the corners are pretty much to the left, so the weight of car and the pressure goes to the front right. Fuel wise, I think you can do up to 30-40 minutes with a full tank, if I remember correctly.
Okay. So, probably looking at...
4 or 5 top stops, I would say.
Yeah.
Because the tyres don't really last for the entire tank. So it's a bit like between 40 and 20 minutes, or between you could say around 30 minutes.
So yeah, about
For
5
every
stops, I'd say. Give or take. Two minutes left of the warm-up session. Gonna be difficult for those that were struggling in quali though. 2.5 hours of low pace. I mean, it might pay off in the end. Some of the faster drivers may kind of just drop off towards the end because of tyre wear or something, but it's gonna be hard to kind of judge.
Indeed, it all depends on how comfortable you are with the car, and how much you can concentrate, and how reliable you can be, pretty much. I mean, if the fastest cars ahead manage to pull off really good laps for 5 laps, but then they put the car into a wall, and the ones that are 2 seconds slower are gonna catch up and get ahead.
I think, will we be starting under twilight? I can't remember what sort of conditions it is at Laguna.
We'll be starting at 6 AM, and race should finish at around 6 PM. So basically we're going from sunrise to sunset.
Hopefully everyone has a headlight button mapped.
I don't think headlights are required at any stage of the race,
Okay.
but it might be suitable to use them at the beginning of the race.
Yeah. Need to remember they can't win this on the first lap either, or the first corner. I mean, we're used to 15-minute races around tiny little tracks for the RCL race. This is the biggest race we've done for 2 years nearly, actually. I think the last one was the 3-hour event, like back in 2012, was it? But drivers are getting out on the grid as we speak, and we shall be going racing for the radical 2.4 hours of Laguna Seca very shortly. Some drivers choosing headlights, some drivers not. I don't know if we have a warm-up lap because I didn't bother to check that. We do not have a warm-up lap. And we are go. Good start from Siggy, he's managed to get away well there. Into turn 1, tight hairpin is going to be crucial. Are we all through so safely? Svenstov and I think that's the Latifi going at it. And my names are broken already, that was a good start. Right, so Siggy leads from Lopez. Latifi's up to 3rd, Svenstov is 4th, Went is 5th, and Langhans is 6th.
Siggy has a decent lead already. Svensdorf has a bit of pressure on the Latifi.
Latifi's ran wide. The Venstos followed him, almost spinning it, but he managed to hold on. Went too far back to make anything of it. Good clean start so far though, no incidents.
Good clean.
Oh, as they say that, someone's off in front of us. Lopez, I think that is. He joins just in front of Svensdorf in third.
Good clean first crew as well.
Yeah, it was actually. It's always tricky, especially in the daytime, let alone in these twilight conditions. Can Lopez challenge Latifi coming down into turn 1? Bit too far back, is he? Or maybe not. Latifi's just ran straight off and Lopez has gone straight through. That was a bit close.
You know, I was just thinking it's probably gonna be around 100 laps or more.
Yeah, I did see the drivers discussing that in the warm-up just now. I reckon it's probably about 100 laps or so.
Oh my god. It's pretty crazy. I mean, we've organised it, but now that I think about it, it's kind of crazy.
Everybody stop, we've changed our minds. Svensson looking all over the back of the Latifi as we come down to the end of lap 2. Siggy with a 6.7 second lead over Lopez already. This is going to be a battle for second, I think. At least in the early stages. Siggy sets a new fastest lap, 1:17, 1:18.
117.9 with a full tank. Wow.
It's quite impressive, unless of course he's not going for a full tank so far, but... Ooh.
Although we are not speaking about...
Can Svensdorf get the move done around the outside of the Latifi? No, he can't.
Latifi just managed to keep him. Svensdorf all over the top of him.
Svensdorf does look the quicker of the two at the minute, and that's going to be... Ooh! Was really a slight nudge.
Latifi a bit wide again.
This is where Svensdorf seems to have a bit of a tidier run than Latifi.
Well, that's going to be key on the long, because if you manage to get that corkscrew comfortably, you've got half the battle done.
See, Latifi's a bit wide again there as we come up to the final corner.
Latifi has lost a bit of the ground to Lopez.
So after the first 3 laps, it is Siggy leading the way from Lopez by 8.5 seconds, and then it's Latifi in third. Svensdorf is in the fourth and challenging Latifi quite a bit already. And then we have got Wendt in 5th and Langhans in 6th. It looks to me like Latifi and Svensdorf are in their own group. Kevin Siggy's got his own group. Lopez is on his own, and then Wendt and Langhans have got their own group as well. Latifi's a bit wide again. 17.6 from Siggy. Oh, can he get around the outside? No room to do it. What about as we come into Sector 2? Langhans has managed to get a 25.6 lap done, and Svenstov is 8.6 ahead of Wendt. Definitely Siggy putting away from the rest of the field though. Svenstov is very close to the back of Latifi as Lopez has gone off in front of us.
Yeah. Well, that tightens things up again.
I think Lopez has got the pace to stay ahead of these, but he seems to be making a couple of mistakes so far.
I think Alexei could be faster, but he's being held up by Latifi, who doesn't seem to make any major mistakes so far.
He seems to run wide and Svenstov follows him off, so he doesn't seem to really gain from it. And of course, with this being Laguna Seca, there's not much of an issue if you do run wide, because it's generally fairly well driven on. That made no sense, I know what I mean. You can drive over it fairly well if you run wide.
If it makes you feel better, I understood what you meant.
That's good then. Oh, Latifi gives Svenstov 4th position then. Can Latifi challenge back though? In fact, that was the third, wasn't it? That is Langhans is off, down. In fact, where is that? That's some place that I can't even recognise. There's a couple of corners, I think. Yeah, looks like it.
So does Alexei have the pace to catch Lopez, or can Latifi catch up on Alexei?
Only time will tell. What sort of lap times have these two been doing? Latifi has done a 20.5 and Svenstov has done a 19.6, so there's not much between them.
Still the closest battle on track.
Yeah. Latifi's really struggling with that corner coming out to the corkscrew though.
Yeah, that corner surface looks faster than what it really is. I mean, it is a very fast left-hander. You just need to usually drop a gear.
Yeah, I think I struggle with that myself because it looks like you can make it in 5th. And Latifi, where he's gone. Looks like you can make it in 5th, but you kind of get halfway around the corner. It's like, I'm not going to make this anymore.
Yeah. And then you end up dropping gear where you don't have, and you end up spinning off.
That's taking the pressure off Svenstov then. Can he start to get on the back of Lopez, I wonder? We're on lap 9.
Oh, that's off. Just managed to stop the car before he went terribly wide. We've already seen a few scary bits.
Well, at least they're doing the scary bits when they've got time to recover from them instead of the last 5 minutes.
No retirement, which is good.
Langhans, how's he doing? He seems to... I think he's slowly getting there on pace-wise. He's doing 25s at the minute. And the next guy in front of me is doing 21s, which is Went. Both Lopez and Svenstoff actually set their personal best first sectors this time.
25.8 and 26.0 respectively.
The gap between Lopez and Svenstoff is 6.5 seconds. Lopez gained another 4/10 in the second sector. These guys have been reaching speeds of 241 kilometers an hour. It's mental.
On a short straight like this, it sure is.
.240 when he hit the brakes in the first corner there. Siggy seems to have things under control so far though. The only driver to actually be using his lights as well, I think.
Well, the leader has to make himself seen.
This is very true. I don't think he's going to be far off picking up Langhans. In fact, he's already allowed Langhans.
He won't be far off. Went in a few laps. Well, he's still like 20-30 seconds.
Yeah. Ooh, Went is just clipping the wall as well, as you say that, going into the corkscrew actually. Went is off at the corkscrew. He doesn't seem to be able to get that braking right at the corkscrew. It is not the easiest thing in the world. How does Siggy handle it? Very well, takes the line over the curb and gets the job done. That's interesting. Lopez is only half a second off of Siggy's fastest lap so far. I think Siggy's a bit more consistent with the fastest lap, so. Actually, I think Lopez might be catching Siggy. He was quicker on that last lap and the gap's down to 20 seconds, 21 seconds.
Well, considering Lopez has had a few mistakes and Siggy doesn't seem to have done, they might be having similar pace during the race.
Let's see who can look after the tyres better between the two, because if they go off in a big way, I've noticed.
Indeed. Well, you know from personal experience, you went for a one-stopper, was it, on a 1 hour race?
I think so.
And you really struggled at the end. You could barely turn left at all. And on a track where all the corners turn left, then
Yeah.
that's not good.
No. There's only about 3 right turns, I think. Interesting. I wonder if Latifi's just had an off, or whether he's just off the pace, because Went is only 7 seconds behind him now. and Svenstoff is just coming up to lap Langhans.
The TV's last lap was a 1:22. And this one's been a 1:20, so maybe he had an off, yeah. Just 1 or 2 seconds on the way.
Does seem that way.
Ten seconds between Morad and Jackson went. Another yellow flag on track.
Was that Went, I think, making a mistake? Just have a look. Yeah, it was. He spun in turn 4, I think that is. Just got the wheels on the grass slightly and round he went. It's lap 14 then, 2 hours, 6 minutes and 13, 12, 11, 10 seconds to go. Lopez quicker than Siggy the last lap by 0.4 seconds. 1:18.2 from Siggy from Lopez's 17.8.
We might have just gone past an historic fact. Is this the first RCL race streamed on YouTube? Or TRC race?
I think so, yeah. I think we tried to get it working when we did. I just checked Caravaggio was going to get it doing for season 2 of RCL, but I decided against it in the end. But it doesn't seem to be as bad as it was now.
TV having to work with that card.
"20 minutes gone, so we'll be thinking about pit stops actually. Another 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, would say 5-10 minutes. Well, in 5 minutes, I would say window will be open, and then it will depend on strategy.
Siggy on 17.1 fastest lap. That's kind of stabilised the gap between him and Lopez.
Lopez being a 1:18.1, which is still a pretty good lap. I would think he's building a gap to third.
Yeah, gap's up to 17 seconds now, so. Lopez seems to have picked up the pace by about a second since Svenstoff was kind of in touching distance of him. And apparently Svenstoff doesn't use the Astoria accounts. Just switched to a camera and there was nothing there. Into the corkscrew for Svenstov then. He is all on his own so far. We need to be keeping an eye on that pit lane because stops are coming.
So, yeah, I think we were about to comment the same thing.
I was just going to say about Svenstov lap times compared to the TV.
Exactly. Also, not sure if it's a little bug or not. When you do Alt and C, I think it is, or pit stops, it switches back automatically to gap.
Oh yeah, it's because of the new way that the UI auto switches itself, I think.
Fair enough.
Honestly, I don't know how this UI even works still because I've not looked at the code for a long time, but I don't think touching it is going to be helpful to it. There's a lot of silly bugs in it which I can't seem to get rid of. I have to say, I'm quite impressed by the level of driving so far, though. We've not really had any major mistakes from anyone and seem to be getting on okay with lapping traffic and overtaking.
Indeed. Jackson has already been lapped. Lopez seemed to be lapping around a second slower than Siggy.
Yeah, that last lap was... In fact, Svenstov and Latifi were quicker than Lopez that last lap.
Gap between Svenstov and Lopez is less than 15 seconds. And really, on a 2+ hour race, 15 seconds is nothing.
It's not really.
I think Lopez is struggling with tyres.
Yeah, it didn't look too good going around that left-hander off the corkscrew there.
Yeah, he's having to put first gear on final corner.
It's a death wish in itself.
Yeah, you usually try to avoid using first gear on these cars. He's using first gear on the first corner as well. Well, second corner. Not sure if that's classed as a 2 corner or a long first corner.
I'd say it's a long first corner.
Siggy's heading to the pit lane.
First pit stop of the day then. 1 hour 57 minutes to go, and he is in. Bang on schedule with half an hour. Will Lopez follow him in though, or will Lopez go for another lap as we've got... Whoa! A bit of contact on the start-finish straight by Langhans and Wendt, I think that was. He's away.
Is this for position or...?
No, I think they're lapping each other. So it's 2.9 from Siggy then. Yeah, I think Wentz just lapped Langhans.
Lopez says on the pitch.
So we just follow him in then. That means Svenstoff is up to second for now. There comes the Latifi, will he get out ahead? He will do it easily.
Oh, went and just got over the crest.
Langhans trying to unlock himself by the looks of things, so Lopez 39 seconds in the pit lane in total. So is Svenstoff going to be pitting this lap, and if so, can he beat Lopez out? There was a rather large gap between them, so I don't think so.
Went all over this into the pit lane.
Both of them in the pit lane.
Did you see Wentz braking though?
I didn't know, I'll catch a replay of that. Wow, that wasn't ideal.
Narrowly avoid the wall.
These two can't seem to get away from each other now. Svenstoff didn't pit.
Alongside out the pit.
Waiting for the speed limiter, there it goes. Good stop from Wendt, he had to...
Langhans let Wendt go that time.
Wendt second quickest stop of the day, as he kind of goes a bit wide on the pit lane exit. So, Svenstoff currently second, would he be pitting on this lap though? He's gone longer than anyone else has so far. We're still waiting for Svenstoff and Latifi to pit.
Yes, we don't stop struggling now, badly.
He was the fastest car through that last lap, 1:19.9, and Lopez did 22.9.
Maybe he's not struggling as much then.
We're still not pitting, so
Actually,
he's doing fairly
carrying
well.
on for another lap. I'm wondering though, has Svenstoff had any major mistakes though?
Apart from getting stuck behind the TV, he's not made a single mistake, no.
Maybe he's managed to kind of keep the tyres from wearing better than anyone else.
Latifi's just pitted. Svenstoff did a 21.2 that last lap, and Lopez is just in a 22.9, so he's still pulling away. He's going to close that gap down, but there was at least 15 or so seconds between them before the stops. In fact, yeah, I was reading that wrong. Lopez is just in a 118.5, so he'll be starting to lose time. I think it's time that Svenstoff came in the pits, especially with him running out into the wall, almost coming out to the corkscrew there.
No major issues though for Svenstoff.
No, he's having to slow way down there, look.
Still better than what Lopez was doing when he was struggling.
In comes Svenstoff then. This is going to be his chance to gain a couple of seconds. He needs a good stop here, because Lopez was the slowest stop so far, and Latifi was the quickest stop so far.
There goes Lopez.
So Lopez did a 39 seconds. What is Svenstoff going to do? So I feel like it might be about the same actually. About 2 seconds quicker. So we'll have gained some time, and that gap's down to 12 seconds.
And he's going for a longer run. Well, he's gone for a longer run.
So, yeah, it was R1H for the standings. The standings after 23 laps is Kevin Siggy leading the way from Lopez, who is 38.3 seconds behind. Svenstoff is 51.7 behind in third. Latifi is fourth, 1 minute 4 behind. Fifth is went a lap down, and Langhans is in sixth, 2 laps down.
Everyone's had the first start. Latifi is pretty much at the same distance to Svidenstov than Svidenstov is to Lopez.
Fairly lonely race for everyone, really. I mean, once Svenstoff got past Latifi in the early stages, it's kind of... nobody's really seen anyone apart from Langhans and went lapping each other.
In fact, went not that far, he's kept the gap at the same distance. I think
40 seconds between him and Latifi at the minute.
last lap was just like 0.5 between him and Latifi.
Svenstoff had a slower outlap than what Lopez managed as well. Gaps up to 16 seconds between those two.
If you're only watching this on Twitch or YouTube, remember you can go to our website, theracingconcept.co.uk, where you can get both streams at the same time plus live timing under it.
Hopefully, Twitch stream is showing us footage that we're not seeing on the main one. That's the plan anyway. Svenstoff just coming up to lap Langhans very shortly.
And over on the onboard feed, we are actually on board of Alexei's vehicle. Approaching turn 2, third gear, right-hander.
Cap 17.4 between Lopez and Svenstoff now. Lopez does seem to be slightly quicker.
To Morad. I think Langhans did try to move out the way, but he probably didn't choose the best of places.
Looks like Lopez was quicker than Siggy that time through as well. Well, not this time through, because it's just updated. But I'm actually quite surprised because Lopez's fastest lap is only about 0.15 off of what leader's name has disappeared from my head. Siggy has managed.
I think Lopez is finding the pace the more into the race we go. I think the same happened with qualifying. He was like 2 point something off the pace, and then he finished just over a second, or less than that.
Just as we say that, Siggy does a 117.0 fastest lap. It seems to me that Siggy is
still not that fast compared to Lopez. Lopez's best is 17.3.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Siggy seems more comfortable with the car when it's got a heavier fuel load. And I found the same when I was driving. It's easier to control if you've got a full tank of fuel. Lopez getting a little bit wrong there.
Last lap, Siggy 117.0, fastest lap of the race, Lopez 117.7. So even though he was still slower than Siggy, it wasn't that much compared to in the earlier stages of the race.
Yeah, Lopez does seem a bit more consistent as well. Siggy will go, he'll do like a lap like he's just done 17.0, but then he'll drop off. But I think Siggy's kind of in the same sort of lap range most of the race.
Not sure if Lopez was a bit too aggressive on that corkscrew there.
Didn't seem as tidy as it could have been.
Lopez seems to be really pushing now. And it seems Lopez takes that last corner in first gear normally.
Interesting.
117.2 Siggy, 117.8 Lopez.
She's still not much in it really, is it? Lopez is
going
just wide. Siggy seems to have a very marginal advantage, but it's not by much. I'm going to see where they are after the final stops really. Race has been going for 38 minutes so far. Yes,
Holy.
Benstoff has dropped off from Lopez by a considerable margin. Didn't get that ideally. I think he might have took a bit too much curb coming down. Because the car seemed to look like it was scraping along the bottom of the ground as he came off there.
So much for the race being 100 plus laps, but we've already completed 30.
Yeah, it's going fairly quick so far. Only an hour 44 to go.
Only?
Yeah, it's a long time when you started off at 2 hours 24 minutes.
Yellow flag? Or not?
Must have been a very brief one if there was.
Yeah, live timing displayed the yellow flag and then went away.
So I think race is going to be between Siggy and Lopez. Gap's 43 seconds. It's going to be interesting to see if Lopez can slowly bring that down now. He's kind of found the sort of pace that Lopez is running. I didn't see how Lopez compared to Siggy in the low tyre grip phase. As the camera was looking at a lot of people there. It's better. Now we can actually see what's going on. Wow. Lopez absolutely pushing it through there. That was quite quick. I don't think he even lifted.
Ever so slightly.
Very wide there though. I wonder if he's starting to push a bit too hard. That's where the precious tenths will be disappearing from him. Although he's still done a 17.7. Siggy did a 17.1. First pit stops were about, what should we say, 10 minutes ago, was it? About there we've got a yellow flag definitely out there somewhere for Wendt, who has gone off, and then Wendt is out of the race because he's lost his wheel. Actually, that looks like he's had a rather major accident on the penultimate corner. I wonder if you can drag that back to the pit lane, or is that game over for Wendt?
Ooh, nasty crash.
No, that is Wendt out of the race, unfortunately. So first retirement then. Wow, he was not sure where he was going. Looks like he turned in too soon. In fact, the back end stepped out as he came into the penultimate corner, and then around he went and straight in the wall. Svenstoff going past the accident as it happened.
Well,
So,
one down after 45 minutes?
yeah, for 2 minutes 47 seconds. Now, I'm not sure what happens if everybody retires before the race finishes.
Well, I would say... I think I did think about it. It crossed my mind. Well, 116.6 for Siggy.
Wow, that's just completely blown Lopez out the water there.
Yeah, I would say if everyone retires and there's only one driver on track, he must complete more laps than the guy that was first, if it wasn't him. So the board actually displays him as being first, and then I would say we could declare him the winner. We're not going to make him go on for like an hour if it happens on its own.
We're not that evil, are we? Are we?
Are we? After organising over 2 hour race and over 100 laps race on Laguna Seca.
Lopez really pushing it into turn 1, going 242 as he brakes. It's pretty insane. I mean, I thought it was quick when he was doing 239, but now it's 3 or 4 kilometers an hour quicker.
Siggy about to lap Svenstoff. So Morad Natifi has already been lapped by Siggy.
Just 45 minutes in then. So, yeah, and Svenstoff is the next target as well. So, oh, Svenstoff has just got himself a penalty. I wonder what that's for.
Ignoring blue flags, probably.
Could well be.
I would say he was less than a second away for an entire sector.
That's gonna put a bit of a dampener on Svenstoff's attempts to catch Siggy then, because that's not what he wants.
And this is gonna give Latifi the chance to get back his position on Svenstoff.
Yeah, Latifi's... how far back is Latifi from Svenstoff? Only 11 seconds.
11 seconds.
Wow, I thought it was further back than that. Svensdorf not taking the pits this lap. He may regret that decision though, because he's just going to spun it out the final corner. And that's in a very tricky place. I don't think Latifi's going to have to wait for that pit stop to get that position back, because he's coming round the final corner now.
Don't think he's going to catch him before the first corner.
Svensdorf was looking fairly comfortable in third, but it seems to not be going his way at the minute. Penalty and now a spin.
More Latifi seems to be smelling blood right now.
Manghans has just gone for a spin somewhere on track. But Latifi definitely got the chance to take. Well, he's definitely going to take third when Svensdorf pits, but will he get it before then? Latifi taking a very, very wide line. Svensdorf not pitting this lap either. He's going to have to make it the next lap then. And he spun it again. Not ideal for Svensdorf at the minute.
And Langen's just made another pit stop, I think.
Yeah, I did see him just exiting as we watched Svensdorf do a second spin of the day. And, ooh, I thought he was going to make it 3 in a row then. Svensdorf is getting very scrappy.
Yeah, I think Svensdorf's tyres might have overheated after the first spin. And tyre wear, bad as it is for overheating tyres. .30 degrees track temperature at the moment.
So Svensdorf needs to go for his drive through this lap, otherwise that's his race over.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Whoa, that's his race over anyway. I think he may have... He's definitely done a lot of that. In fact, he's lost the front right wheel, and there he goes. That is an end to Svensdorf race. 2 retirements. And he's not even going to have to worry about that drive-through penalty anymore. So they're starting to kind of drop like flies. That's 2 in the last 10 minutes we've had. Lopez in for his second stop. What about Siggy? Has Siggy made his second stop yet? No, he hasn't. So Lopez first to pit out of those two then.
Lopez just approaching first corner.
Siggy's just coming up to the first corner as well. Coming up to lap him very shortly. So just 4 cars remaining in this race then.
Langen's picked up his 4th place for now. Oh, he will do once he gets the laps back.
Yeah, he was. I think he was 2 laps down on Svensdorf, wasn't he? Oh no, only a lap. Okay.
Latifi's only 22 seconds from Lopez. Although Latifi's not pitted yet, I don't
Yeah, I was
think.
gonna say Lopez has just made his stop, so that's probably why. Ziggy driving a good race so far. He's not put a foot wrong at all, and he's in a major class of his own at the minute. Minute 10 ahead of Lopez. Not quite a lap ahead, but getting there. So coming up to the 51-minute mark, we've lost two drivers. Siggy is still leading the way from Lopez, and then it's Latifi third after Svensdorf picked up a penalty, spun twice, and then eventually went on to retire. Svensdorf is classed as fourth, but he has retired. Langhans is currently trying to get that lap back in fifth, and went towards the first retirement in sixth.
I've noticed something interesting. Siggy uses first gear on the second part of the corkscrew.
He's also pitting as well.
Yeah.
See what he can do then. Time ticking away. He doesn't need to rush though, he's got plenty of time. Looks like a decent stop as well. .4 seconds in the pit lane. So that puts Lopez back to about 45 seconds behind as he cuts that corner there quite a bit. And Langhans is classed as fourth now. He's managed to get that lap back on Svensdorf. Whoa, Lopez really didn't get that right. It's coming down the corkscrew. What's the difference between Lopez and Latifi now? 46 seconds. Everyone's made their final, not final stop. Good God, if it's the final stop, would be less than an hour and a half to go. Made the second stop.
Yeah, same distance between Siggy and Lopez from Lopez to Latifi.
Everyone very much in their own race now, and just kind of keep going until the timer ticks down, and then maybe, just maybe, you'll come out on top and be the victor. Not sure what it is local time at Laguna Seca actually. We started at 6 AM and that was almost an hour ago, so it's probably about midday or so, I think, judging by the timescale.
And the amount of brightness that's at. Because that's really bright compared to how we started.
Yeah. Yeah, looking like it's going to be either a race of attrition or a race of making sure you don't make any silly mistakes. Because, I mean, Svensdorf is his name, that was it. He didn't particularly hit that outside wall as hard as Wendt did, but he still did a lot of damage.
I think it's more to do with the angle as well. If he hits the side that speed, or even the front, something might not be as bad. But the fact that he hit it like in a corner of the car, it just completely obliterated the wheel.
2 flying wheels today. Hopefully it's not going to be 3 or 4. So have a look, see what Lopez and Latifi are doing. Lopez was 2.2 seconds quicker than Latifi that last lap. Just goes to show how quick things can change. Latifi was down in 5th at one point, 4th even, and now all of a sudden he's in 3rd, and he's not even had to overtake anyone to get there. And Svenstoff was driving a good race as well, and then he picked up that penalty and had 2 spins and then walloped it on the wall.
Yeah, I think that penalty got him by surprise, and it just took over his mind, and then he wouldn't probably concentrate as he would normally do, causing the 2 late spins on the same corner and then having the accident. Because I don't think he had any major mistakes the entire race, and then he makes 3 major ones in like a lap and a half.
Yeah. Siggy, 44 laps, 45.6 seconds ahead. He's about a second a lap quicker, judging by that. But
Science.
yeah, major science going on there. There's still an hour and 26 minutes to go. We're only an hour into this 2.4 hour race.
Interesting. Latifi was faster than Lopez that lap.
Lopez actually had a slow lap of 19.4 compared to Siggy 17.3.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Has Lopez run out of fuel? Oh.
Doesn't look like it.
He'd suddenly stop on like that little straight.
Yeah. Wonder if he, although the engine was still going.
Ooh.
Mistake at top of the corkscrews. I was watching that replay.
Yeah, slightly tapping wall, getting all that braking badly.
Yeah, he's dented the front right corner, I can see. Doesn't look as straight as it should do. See, it was saying about drivers making mistakes. Langhans was last and a couple of laps down, and to be fair, he is still last, but he's up to 4th now instead of 6th. And that's because people haven't been able to keep it on the road.
I was about to say this like on the first few laps, but you know, Langhans might end up winning the race, you never know.
Maybe.
On a race like this, it just anything can happen.
At the minute, Siggy looks like he's got it all under control, but we said that about Svanstoff, and then that.
You can be under control for 2 hours and 23 minutes, but then that second or that half a second can cost you the race. It sounds harsh, but it is really like that.
Siggy's not as fast in the straight line as Lopez either. He's 3 kilometers down at the fastest point on the track, only doing 240 kph.
Slightly higher value of rear wing on Siggy's car.
I have to say, Siggy does look slightly more planted than what Lopez does though, so quite possibly.
Unless Lopez was on somebody's slipstream when he kind of marked the
Top speed? Well, you say that, but he did it. I think it's like 1 kilometer an hour slower than that, even in fresh air. So. Oh, Lopez, that's not going to end well. Can he keep it out that wall? No, we can't. Make contact. Looks like all 4 wheels are still on his wagon, though. Lopez is starting to drop off by the looks of things. He's made quite a few mistakes in the last couple of laps. Actually, are we about to do another pit stop? Although, no, we can't be, can we? No, because we've already made their second stops here.
Did my net die for a split second there or something?
I don't know.
It did.
Did it?
Yeah, Lopez disappeared for me, and I was like,
Strange.
take it, I'll have to join as spectator now.
If you've lost connection, quite possibly.
How do I actually do that on rFactor 1?
With an option setting somewhere.
Cool.
I have no idea, to be honest. I should think it with multiplayer and then options, possibly. Ooh, Lopez is struggling for grip. And Lopez is going to be in the wall and losing a wheel very shortly as well if he's not careful, because he is all over the place at the minute. He needs to get things under control again.
Tell him to wait till I rejoin at least.
Does look like Lopez is starting to struggle with something. He's lost a lot of time compared to what he was doing earlier in the race. There's a yellow flag because Latifi is off at the corkscrew. Langhan's still going, 5 laps down, but he's still going. Yeah, Lopez has done a 23.0 compared to Siggy's 17.4, so really is struggling quite badly. So still Siggy leading the way here. We've just crossed the hour mark. We're 1 hour and 5 minutes into this race. Siggy has got a 1 minute 11 second lead over Lopez, who seems to be dropping off the pace quite dramatically the last couple of laps. Latifi is currently 3rd, and Langhans is finishing off the field in 4th. We've had 2 retirements in the form of Svedensdorf and Went2 both lost their front right wheel after contact with the wall. 1 hour 18 to go. Looking like Siggy's got it under control so far though. He'll be lapping Lopez very shortly, and then he'll be the only car actually left on the lead lap. And now he's just going to set the fastest lap of 16.663 as well, so Siggy is doing a good job of showing everyone that he's the quickest driver so far. Fastest lap after fastest lap, and that was about halfway through his stint as well, so tyres and fuel aren't going to be, well, fuel will be good because that'll be almost empty, but Lopez is almost driving off track, and he is off track up ahead of us. That looks like it could be a big accident if we don't keep it out that wall. Does manage to keep it out the wall just. Ziggy a lap ahead of the entire field then. And it looks like Danny's having quite bad technical issues. So you may have just me for the next hour and 15 minutes.
Sorry?
It looks like you're not doing too well managing to get back in game.
I know, right? I'll start watching the stream if I can get it to work in a sec.
So Stiggy about 0.7ish seconds ahead of Lopez in the fastest lap standings. Stiggy is 16.6, Lopez is 17.3. In fact, Lopez is in the pits again, so that promotes the TV up to second. Lopez seems to be struggling quite badly with something. 1 hour and 15 minutes for the third round of pit stops to start. There goes Langhans, still trundling around in fourth, or Langhans I should say. Looks like the TV's coming up to lap him in the next couple of laps as well.
Nope, seems like I can't rejoin.
Well, that's no good, is it?
So, for any of you watching the onboard feed, please switch over to the main feed on our YouTube channel.
And Lopez has retired from third place as well. So we've got just Siggy, Morad, Latifi and Griffin Langhans left in the race. 3 drivers for 1 hour and 13 minutes. And I am all on my own. Which is not good.
Yeah, I just get join timeout when I try to join as spectator.
Strange. You'll have to be the live timing commentary person then. But only 3 drivers left and we've only been going for an hour.
In fact, I don't know.
1 hour and 12 minutes. Langhans is slowly making his way up the field. He'll be up into third position very shortly if he manages to get those laps back on Lopez, which he will do in 5 minutes or so time. You might be right, he might win this race after all. Because Siggy, Morad, Latifi and Langhans is all we have remaining. This is going to be a very lonely hour and 10 minutes for those that are left.
We have apparently 8 people watching. That's including myself. So thanks everyone for joining us.
We were hoping to get some good battles between a couple of drivers, but they all seem to have crashed. Lopez, we were hoping he could do something against it's not Skippy, Siggy, and Svanstov was another driver we hoped could kind of challenge, but both of those have dropped off. Wentz has dropped off and hit the wall, trundling around in fifth. So three drivers left.
What actually happened to Lopez?
I don't know, I saw Lopez come in for a pit stop and then live timing said he'd retired, so... I don't know what happened. Maybe? Possibly, he was having a bad couple of laps. And he'd just been lapped as well.
So, it's Siggy, Latifi and Langan.
Yep, they're the 3 drivers remaining.
Interesting.
There was almost 2 drivers remaining then, because Latifi was off the track going up towards the corkscrew at a rather high rate of speed. Could have ended badly. So an hour and 15 minutes down, half the field has retired. Doesn't look good, since it's still an hour and 9 minutes to go.
I've got a question. If I log into YouTube with the TSC account, will I break stuff?
I don't know.
Guess I won't try just in case then.
He must have had one of the most boring races of his life so far, I think. He's not looked back since he took the lead an hour and 15-ish minutes ago. Sounds like someone's just pitting actually, and he's indeed, and TV's just come into the pit lane. Siggy is officially 2 laps ahead of the nearest driver. And if you just exiting the pit lane now.
Okay, I logged in with the TRC account. It's working.
Okay. Don't log into RDP though, because you'll alt-tab me and break everything.
Okay.
Just over 1 GSC race remaining, 1 hour 6 minutes.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
Langhans has managed to get himself up into third. He's 4 laps down on the TP, mind you. But if Siggy and the TV can't keep it on the track for the next hour, it could be Langhan's race. Or it could be no one's race, everyone could just crash out.
And we don't really want that to happen, do we?
Not particularly, because then we'd have to do some complex maths to try and figure out who was the actual winner from the previous laps. But it shouldn't be too hard considering there's laps between people instead of seconds.
Oh, nice. On the live timing, I'm classed as retired now, instead of on the pits, like you are. So Siggy's done 2 stops, whereas Latifi and Langhams have already done 3 stops.
Yeah, they seem to be on a very different strategy to what Siggy's doing. He seems to pit a lot later than them, or they pit earlier than they should be doing, I don't know.
He's actually just pitted. Or is actually pitting.
He's just got into his box. Down off the jacks he goes. There's going to be a quick stop actually. He's already on his way out, 20 seconds and a bit. In fact, it'll be probably about on time actually, 27, 28. 29 quickest stop he's done in the day, 29.8 seconds I think that was, give or take a couple tenths. So Siggy on his way. That means he's only got about 1 stop left to go I think before the end of this race. This one should take him to about 33ish minutes remaining. Then it'll just be a case of saving fuel after his final stop, I would say. One hour 3 minutes is left. We've been going for 1 hour and 21 minutes.
I'm curious to know if they're gonna have 1 more stop or 2.
I think Latifi and Langhans will do another 2. But I'm not sure about Siggy because he's right on the edge of actually being able to make it on just 1 more.
Yeah. But does he really want to risk it and end up with no fuel or some freak accident happen? Because we had something similar to that happen on that endurance race we did on rFactor 2.
There was a guy that ran out of fuel on that, yeah.
and then we had another guy pushing him into the box.
Oh yeah.
A couple of months before than what happened on GSC where Nick Covey pushed Dave Ellis into the box when he ran out of fuel.
Check rFactor season 1. That was a long time ago, wow. Siggy drifting his way around the penultimate corner there. He's not looking after those tyres, clearly. He's zapping about 2 seconds quicker than
about tires?
the Tiffy at the minute as well. Track is very quiet at the minute. Let's see what Langhans is up to. He's kind of just coming up to the corkscrew at the minute. I see Langhans brakes quite a bit before the crest actually. He doesn't seem to like braking what's going over that crest. It is tricky to get right, because you kind of got to go over the crest and then the car, or lock the wheels, and you got to stay in a straight line. And then get it slowed down before you have to turn 90 left, 90 right, and going downhill at the same time. Oh, Langhans has just gone straight on at the final corner actually. And is this... oh, here comes the TV to laugh him again. I'm impressed Langhans is still going. I mean, he's 6 laps down, but it doesn't seem to bother him.
Well, considering he's on the podium right now.
Yeah.
He's already gained 3 positions. Who knows, he might gain another 2 by the end of the race. Can't count anyone out on this sort of race.
Nope, as evidenced by the 2 retirements we've got. The Siggy just comes up to the lap. What's his name again? Langhans, 7 laps down he goes. And we've officially crossed over into under 1 hour remaining of this race. An hour 24 minutes are past, 59 minutes and 40 seconds remain. But really, it is most definitely Siggy's race to lose. Not put a foot wrong so far though. He just needs to keep that going for another hour. These kind of cars aren't exactly the easiest things to drive either.
Track temperature continues to rise. Over 33 degrees now.
Must be well into late afternoon at the circuit now. In fact, the sun will soon start setting actually. There's only an hour left and it's probably about 1 PM in game.
Pro maths right there.
I know, right? Siggy's just
we
coming
have
up.
Langhans fan club on the chat from YouTube, having some cheering for him.
Siggy's just coming up to lap the TV as well. He's just gone off track again. So it was 1 hour 15 minutes when the first round of stops, not first round, good god, third round of stops started. So it's going to be another 10, maybe 15 minutes before we see another couple cars in.
I'm curious to see what Siggy does.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to pit. In fact, I think Siggy pitted with about an hour and 3 to go, actually, so...
I think it was more, you know. I think it was like an hour 10. So it's going to be like on the borderline of both tyres and fuel if he decides to just go for one stop.
Yeah. I mean, he can go for 2, it's not really an
He
issue
should go
him.
for 5.
Yeah. Puts another lap on the
every
TV.
10 minutes.
Oh, the TV's just gone straight in the side of Siggy there. And that's what we were saying about race may not always be under control. Siggy's lucky there was a decent runoff. Yeah, the TV just broke way too late and went straight in the back of him. In fact, oh, don't tell me the TV just retired. The TV has just retired, so we have Siggy and Langhand remaining. 2 cars and 56 minutes to go.
David versus Goliath, anyone?
If Siggy bins it now and Langhand wins, then I don't know what to say.
Well, you can just say what Beth Langan said on YouTube. Go Langans, go!
I wonder if that's done any damage to Siggy though. That's a pretty hefty whack in the rear.
Could have well done. I wonder if Natifi lost braking reference
Yeah,
while being lapped by Siggy.
Siggy looks like he's got a bit of damage there. He's kind of wiggling down the straight trying to figure out what's going on.
Because I've personally done that in the past. I don't usually have many accidents on track, but when you alongside you sometimes concentrate more on where's the other car, and then you realise, whoops, I probably had to brake there.
Yeah. "54 minutes. It's going to be a long time for Siggy, and it's going to be a long time for Langhans. There's nobody else on track."
It has to be so difficult to keep concentration right now.
Yeah.
I mean, well, Langams has just had his race for the entire way. I mean, well, Siggy as well in a way. But looking at the timing on Siggy's perspective and seeing that the closest car is like 6 or 7 laps away from you, that moment where you think you can relax, you end up into the wall.
Or when you think you can just lap a car going down the start of Hayes Street. And next thing you know, you're flying off at turn 1. I'm just beginning to wonder if Langhand's got some sort of problem, because he seems to be quite a bit slow on this lap, especially around the final sector. He's taking it super slow at the minute. I mean, his last lap was a 27.8. That's 3 seconds off his best.
Probably received some messages from engineers saying, look, everyone's retired, take it slow and you'll win this.
How is Siggy doing at the minute anyway? He's coming round to finish lap 69.
With it being a timed race as well, you don't need to go fast to finish earlier.
No. Someone's going to finish at the same time. I mean, Langhans doesn't even need to push now. He's got no one behind him, and realistically, he's not going to catch Siggy. Unless Siggy has some sort of major accident. He doesn't seem to be suffering anything major from that impact though. It's probably kind of knocked something, but ooh, as I say that, it almost spins it coming into the corkscrew. That could have been quite big. Yeah, 7-lap lead. Or give or take a couple of laps. I think it's 7 laps. Yeah, 7 laps. 51 minutes. And nobody else on track.
7 laps, that's about like 10 minutes behind.
Yeah, sounds about right. Doing what, 120s usually, so.
I mean, you're more familiar with endurance racing, but finishing 7, 8, 9 laps behind isn't really that far in the sense of certain classes and whatnot.
Yeah. Siggy locking up at the top corkscrew there.
It's a fairly easy track to learn, but it's pretty difficult to master.
Yeah. You can get
I
around
should probably
it
write
simple
that down,
enough.
that's a pretty nice quote.
Get around it simple enough that if you want to get around it at the pace that Siggy's doing, you need to put some serious hours in. Especially with these cars.
Or be extremely talented. Or both.
"49 minutes to go." This is pretty much just a free practice session for these guys now. Go around, put some laps in, try not to hit the wall.
Sounds easy enough.
Last one to hit the wall wins an rFactor key.
Difference is, they've been already running for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
It has to be tiring.
I think it's probably worse when you're on your own and either so far ahead or so far down as well.
Yeah, well, that's what I meant earlier. In the position of Siggy, you, like, I don't know, it's like, you look at gap and you see next car 7 laps behind. And then you're going at 240 and braking for a hairpin. I mean, it's so easy to get distracted and lose concentration.
I think it's probably better that this isn't kind of like a 24-hour race and it's the middle of the night and there's only these guys left. Because otherwise I think A, they probably would have given up a long time ago if it was just these guys left, and B, at least with it being daylight they can try and stay awake easier than say if it was 2 or 3 in the morning.
I mean, what we tried to do on this event really was make it a semi-endurance where you can race on your own without a team, and it's pretty much on endurance racing. This amount of time would pretty much be a stint.
Yeah. Langhan's just coming in for his 4th stop of the day, if I'm not mistaken. It is indeed stop number 4. Langhans is actually classed as being in 2nd now.
So he's already completed more distance than any other driver except Siggy.
Yep. So, say Siggy was to crash out, Langhans would need him to do it with over 10 minutes remaining. Well, over 11 minutes remaining now with his 8 laps down.
Well, I would say that's what makes sense, in the sense that whoever drives the longest distance. But then again, is it acceptable that Siggy retires when there's like 8 minutes left? Because that wouldn't be very popular either, would it?
No. We're slowly getting there though. 4 cars gone, 2 remain. Both of which have not made mistakes. It's just the fact that Langhans just isn't as quick as Siggy.
They've kind of proven they're the most reliable, right?
Yeah.
One on each side of the world, or whichever way you want to see it.
So what's next in our adventures of endurance races or races and championships? We should probably bring RCL back.
Yeah.
Need to get season 3 of that going again.
It's also Radical from F1 Mallorca. Last race of the pre-season tomorrow. And then I do believe the actual championship will start the first Sunday. There's no F1. I think we're having around 10 drivers each race so far. I'll probably leave a message on the forums if anyone's actually like this sort of car and they're not racing anywhere with them, then they can join us and have some races. Not sure whether you're gonna start streaming them or...
No idea at this minute in time of the world.
Me asking the difficult questions at difficult times.
Indeed, we've still got 45 minutes of this race to go and there's only 2 people left.
Hey, you asked.
Let's start doing it with Fox, just run a load of commercials and race will be a lot quicker. Which is the point, NASCAR starts soon. It might have already started actually.
In terms of TRC, we kind of finished the F1 2012 Co-op Championship. There's like Assetto Corsa. We hope multiplayer will be available on that soon, and we'll surely be covering that. There's a few videos of that on our channel.
There's not really many games at the minute, racing wise, which have really been interesting. Because Grid 2 was a complete letdown. WRC a complete letdown. As it always has been for the entire series, but that's a different topic of discussion. And yeah, I was just waiting for Assetto Corsa to get multiplayer and kind of actually release properly because it's still in early access at the minute. But Codemasters, I do believe, from what I understand, they have Dirt 4, F1 24 Were we in 2014? Yes, we are in 2014. And then they've got 2 more driving games which are coming out, because the BTCC champion Matt Neal has been to Codemasters lately to say that they have 2 games coming and they're awesome. So Codemasters got 4 driving games coming out this year. Don't know when.
That's news to me
or
as
anything.
Well.
Nothing's confirmed.
Yeah, I see where you're going. So, well, Dirt 4, we can assume it'll be announced sometime.
Dirt 4 is definitely coming either the end of this year or early 2015, because I noticed on Twitter earlier that one of the guys that actually works on Dirt 4 said, "Do you really want a screenshot from me?" to the Dirt Twitter account. They said, "Yes, just make it accidental." So Dirt 4 is definitely on the way. I don't know what the other 2 are though.
I wouldn't think a sequel to Showdown.
No, not with Matt Neal going there, he wouldn't be doing that. I think it's going to be possibly a return to the Toka Lake series.
Yeah, I was gonna say Toka 3 was released like 2009.
It's a long time ago. It's probably later, earlier than that even. Might have been 2007, 2008. Because Dirt 2 was 2009. There's not been a Toka since Dirt 2. I think last Toka was 08. I think possibly 07.
Oh, I've just noticed Toka 3 isn't on the Steam store anymore.
No, that didn't work on Windows 7, did it? So they removed it.
Yeah, it did. Well, it
Did
did
it?
for me.
Huh.
Toka 3 did.
.40 minutes of the race left. Siggy is still 8 laps in the lead from Langhans. Langhans is still going, which I have major respect for him going, even though he's going that far back.
So it released in 2006.
Siggy's into the pits. Was it really 2006? Well,
Yeah,
although that would make sense.
February the 24th.
Because Dirt 1 was 2007, then it was 2 in 2009, 3 was 12, and then it was Showdown last year. In fact, no. 3 was 11, Showdown was 12. So, yeah. I think Dirt 4 is going to be on next gen as well, rather than current. Siggy just exiting the pit lane.
And I don't think they're into Grid 3 anytime soon.
No, I don't think they will do in Grid 3. They got major backlash from Grid 2, so they either need a new franchise or a reboot of Toka. Or maybe they're doing both, because they've got 2 more games, but yeah.
I mean, Grid 2 isn't that bad. It's a good game. But you could say it's pretty much nothing like Grid 1.
Yeah.
And that's what hurt people that loved the franchise, or that loved the first game.
If you hadn't played Grid 1, Grid 2 was a good game. Those of you that had played Grid 1 and thought Grid 1 was the most amazing thing in the world, like me, Grid 2 was, like, just not what it should have been.
Yeah. I mean, the graphics and the sound on Grid 2 is amazing. But the car feeling and the feeling of being in the car that Grid 1 gave you, you can't feel that on Grid 2. And we've kind of not mentioned rFactor 2.
Well, rFactor 2's been out for ages though. I mean, that was 2011 possibly.
Not out of beta yet though.
Is it still in beta?
I believe it is.
Huh.
And we're having new builds of that pretty often actually, I think.
Yeah.
And the winner of this race will actually receive a lifetime key for rFactor 2.
Indeed, indeed.
Courtesy of ISI themselves, actually.
2 years ago now, but we won't mention that bit. Oh, bit of a mistake from Siggy. That's the first thing we've seen in quite a long time. Got it a bit wrong coming up to the penultimate corner. Lap 82 is just about to start. 8 laps ahead of Langhans. 36 minutes left to go. I bet Langhans didn't think he would be up to second at this point in the race though. I mean, he's not really had the pace compared to anyone around him, and he was dead last, and then everyone started making mistakes, and now all of a sudden he's in second. Could he get first? I don't know. Siggy doesn't seem to look like he's going to be making a mistake anytime soon. But neither did I've forgotten his name.
Svidenstov?
Yeah, that's the one, Svidenstov.
I think we should have just called him Alex from the beginning, or Alexei. We again apologise for our pronunciation on the name.
What sort of lap times is Langhans doing anyway? He's doing kind of like, yeah, 126 is his best lap. He's just doing 25.1. Best lap was 24.7. But he's really backed off since he's come into second, which I don't blame him for. All he needs to do is just keep going.
Langhans, you know, he's not far off his pace. His last lap was the 125.1, when his fastest is at 124.7. So only around 0.4, 0.5 from his best time.
Yeah.
Same is happening with Siggy, really. Last lap was the 116.9. His best lap is the 116.5. Langhans is actually faster on the pits than Siggy. By a whole second.
Well, there you go. Shadows are starting to get quite long, I'm noticing, on the track. It must be getting quite close to sunset. Ooh, Siggy's rather rise and sideways there.
I would say pit stop for... well, last pit stop window is probably open now, or in the next 5 minutes.
I would say you could probably make it now, but you would need some fuel saving. I think you need to get half hour left at least to be safe.
Yes, I'll agree with that.
But I mean, you could make it now. But it's not like you will make it. It's you have an 80% chance you'd make it.
Yeah, more than the safe pit stop would be. You would be required to save fuel and take care of the tires, like, a lot.
Yeah. Siggy took quite a lot of the dirt on that corner there. More than the track, I think.
Going back to rFactor 2, I do believe Silverstone was added recently to that.
Silverstone, yeah, they've been adding. They've added the VTCC Honda actually as well lately. And I did see we had
nice.
a press release the other day about a new build. Problem with rFactor 2 at the minute is not a whole lot of content for it.
Well, I suppose it's the same with rFactor 1 really. It all goes down to the community and the mods. So once rFactor 2 is stabilized and probably released from beta, we'll start seeing mods and community events more often, and I should think it's the way to go from rFactor 1.
Just as you say that, Siggy had a very big moment in the corkscrew. I thought he may have run out of fuel or something then, because he stopped twice at least going down there. Seems to have recovered from that now though.
Probably taking a break, just breathing.
But yeah, I don't think rFactor would still be used as much as it is if it wasn't for the mods, because I mean rFactor came out nearly 10 years ago now.
Yeah, I think it's like 2007?
Possibly 5. But I think there's still quite a lot of people that actually prefer 1 over 2, you know.
Actually, you're right. 31st of August 2005. So yeah. In a year's time, in summer, it'll be 10 years old.
That's quite scary.
And there's still a load of mods releasing and being updated in many classes, especially F1 and open wheel type of cars.
There's still Grand Prix 3 and Grand Prix 4 from Jeff Crammond that are being updated yearly as well. And GP3 was 98, GP4 was 2001.
So I should think once it releases from beta and it's kind of stabilized, rFactor 2 will probably take over rFactor 1 in the sense of like features, whereas weather-wise and marbles and all the little details on the tracks. I mean, you do get different weather on rFactor 1 with plugins, but it's not the same as the inbuilt stuff on rFactor 2.
Yeah. Half an hour to go, ladies and gentlemen. Half an hour to go. Which means it's probably about 3:30 PM in game.
Indeed.
Like hands still going along, 9 laps down, but still going.
A good job holding on so far.
Yeah. He's not quick, but he's not crashed. Up 88 for Siggy. It's a shame we didn't get a bigger field, but I don't think there was much we could have done about that, really.
Indeed, I was actually counting on more people that didn't make it to the race or weren't that bothered about it when I thought that they would be.
Yeah.
But then again, we were discussing this yesterday. The options we had was either one, postponing it to a later date, which doesn't really guarantee that there's going to be any more drivers, or we could just cancel it altogether if we don't meet a minimum amount of drivers. Or if they're really interested in racing and they don't mind racing on a small grid, then we just carried on and went with it. if these guys want to get on the track for over 2 hours when there's barely any drivers or there's like a small grid, then we'll just go with it. Hell, we've even done endurance racing with the AI, so
Yeah.
we're just crazy like that.
26 minutes and 55 seconds remaining. We are almost there. Coming up on the 2-hour mark.
We've not actually mentioned, and I don't personally have many news often, or not as often as I used to, about Project Cars.
It's still going, it's releasing this year apparently. There was a new trailer the other day. They've moved over from the current gen consoles to the new ones, but it's still coming this year apparently.
Makes sense, I suppose. Although, has that slowed them down on development?
I think
I'm sure they would have had to adapt most of the stuff.
I think they'd already kind of started on the next gen stuff as it was, so I don't think it was too much of an issue for them. It probably frees up more time as well if they were working on current gen and next gen. But yeah. My hands just turn the lights on actually. Starting to get a bit dark around that start finish straight. But we're going to take, well, I'm going to take a quick break. Actually, Daniel will still be here for 10 minutes or so, and then we shall have the final 10-15 minutes of this race.
So yeah, I'm left here for a few minutes. As you know, Siggy's leading to Langans for about 8 laps, 9 laps actually. 90 laps completed for Siggy so far, 80 for Langans. Just over 24 minutes remaining. And it's basically just down to whoever can keep it out the wall. Siggy's not made any mistakes in pretty much the entire race. It's been fast, it's been consistent. And Langans, well, he's managed to stay there. He's a lot slower than Siggy, but he's proven that he's reliable and consistent. And in endurance racing, or survival racing where it's like this one, it's a really important factor. You can be a lot slower than the cars ahead, but if they have mistakes and they put the car in the wall, you're gonna gain a lot of positions. And that's what Langans has actually proven this race. Siggy's last lap was 117.2, 0.7 slower than his best lap. Langans more or less on the same pace. His last lap was about 1.3, 1.4 slower than his best. And we should be approaching final stop. under 23 minutes remaining now. The sun is starting to set, and visibility is a lot lower than what it was. One 17.3 for Siggy. Track temperature is now decreasing. (31°). I think it peaked up at like 33, 34 degrees. Oh, yellow flag. Do you believe that was Langan's? Probably missing the braking on the corkscrew. Took the chance to let Siggy go past. So now Langan's is 10 laps down, with just over 20 minutes remaining. Jackson was the first one to retire. He did manage to complete 29 laps nevertheless. Then it was Svidensov who got a penalty, we believe, for ignoring blue flags, which I don't think it was what he was actually aiming for. I mean, I don't think he actually slowed down Kevin that much, but he was under a second behind him, so he got the penalty automatically. And after that, he spun twice in a row on the final corner of the lap, and then he had another major mistake and crashed into a wall, causing the front right tyre to be lost from his vehicle. Then we're not sure what happened to Fran Lopez, who went into the pits and then never came out. And the final retirement so far was Morad, who had an accident with Kevin as Kevin was lapping Morad, and then Morad decided to retire at that point. And all these accidents have caused that Langens, who was probably the slowest driver, is actually second. And he's already completed 84 laps, which is 20 more laps than Morad. And now we can see Siggy has actually turned his lights on. visibility on track is a lot lower than half an hour ago. Only 17 minutes remaining. So the question now is, with 17 minutes remaining, will Siggy prove that he's fast, consistent and reliable and win it from start to end? Or will Griffin Langens be David Langens and win this, even though he was the slowest car on the grid?
Alright, 15 minutes to go then.
Welcome back.
Hello. So that's 10 laps down now, but still going.
Indeed. As you can see, it's a lot darker on track now.
Does indeed look to be a lot darker. Oh, Siggy making a late stop. Suppose he's got the luxury of doing so. He's 10 laps ahead, so why not?
Well, he was scheduled to stop, remember?
Ah, yes, he was, wasn't he?
He just went longer than we expected.
That is Siggy's final stop of the day then. We are 2 hours and 10 minutes into this race. There is 14 minutes remaining. And it's looking like a very dominant performance from Siggy.
Sure is. It's been a rather clean race in terms of battles.
Yeah. I don't think we've had any battle end in being driven off the road. I mean, Latifi drove Siggy off the road, but that was for being loud.
Yeah, not entirely sure what happened there.
Nobody's kind of like... Well, I mean, even on the first lap it was really clean as well. It's not just the entire race.
Gotta say, Morid had completed 64 laps at that stage. So, concentration can start playing up, and if you're just looking at the car that you have alongside you or in front of you and you lose brake reference, then that's it.
It is easily done.
Fortunately, Siggy managed to continue, maybe with a little damage on the car. Nothing major and nothing race changing. And Latifi retired at that point, and then left Langhams to take second spot.
It's not just mental fatigue either, it's going to be physical as well. I mean, I know earlier when I was doing NASCARs, and I was driving around the oval for, I think it was about an hour, but by the end of it, I don't think I could have gone on much further.
Yeah, well, that's what Latifi sent me a message. I saw a message from Latifi saying a similar thing. He said, I just couldn't go any longer. He said he'd had a off track or out track and mistake, and he just couldn't go on any longer. I suppose the accident made him realise that he just couldn't keep up anymore, couldn't keep concentrated anymore. Not
I've
entirely sure what happened
101.
to Lopez.
No, I don't know what happened to Lopez. Whether, I don't know. He was making a lot of mistakes, whether he just got frustrated and gave up, I don't know. But we're going a lot further than the 100 laps we predicted. It's going to be 107, possibly?
Well, I did say 100 plus.
Yeah, well.
Because it would be like 100 at 2 minutes per lap.
Yeah.
Well, not quite.
Siggy about to get his 20-minute dose of entertainment as Langhan goes off behind him, or in front of him even. And that'll be the last time that Siggy probably sees Langhan, I should think. Or maybe not, maybe you'll see him once or twice more before the end. 10.5 minutes. That's how far away Siggy is from his rFactor 2 prize.
I gotta say, Langen's been pretty clean, letting people lap him.
Yeah.
Apart from that time with Went, but I'm not sure what, and I'm not entirely sure what was going on that stage of the race.
No, I don't know. They were side by side in the pits and running into each other and everything.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Went made a mistake, and then Langen was actually outlapping himself, but then Went got back to speed, and then he was trying to lap Langen's again, so it was a bit crazy. In the end, Langen's let Went go on after the pit stop, or on pit exit, because they actually came out of the pits alongside as well.
Yep. I think these last 10 minutes are going to be the worst for these two, because the race is almost over, but it's not quite over. And it's like, you go round and round and round, is it over yet? Is it over yet?
It's gonna get pretty dark. I don't remember it getting that dark. Maybe your eyes get used to it when you actually driving the car, but from outside it's pretty dark.
Yeah. It shouldn't get too much darker, there's only 8 minutes left, so it's about probably another half hour in-game time that don't go past.
Yeah. Half an hour could go from this to pretty much completely dark.
Well, yeah, true. I don't. If it was darker than this, then probably. But I think we'll probably just get to the stage where it's starting to.
Yeah.
Switch over.
Like on the limit.
Yeah.
Gotta say, flawless race by Siggy. No buts.
By both of them, really. I mean, they're still going after this long, and neither have had any major mistake. Seen Langham had a bit of a spin just, but I think from what I've seen, that's what he's done. Langham's deserves a key for just like carrying on.
At the moment, At the beginning, I'm not sure where I'm trying to go here. Yeah, at some stage of the race, it seemed Lopez could get to the pace that Siggy was at, but then it seemed Lopez was less consistent than Siggy.
Yeah.
And then it started going downhill.
I think Lopez was consistent when he wasn't trying to catch Siggy, but once he started getting to the sort of lap times that Siggy was doing, he couldn't stay consistent, and that, I think that was what eventually caused him to make all the mistakes that he did. Because when he was doing his 118s, he was, you know, constant with the 118s, and there wasn't really much of a mistake going on. Ooh.
But then when he realised he could go down to 117s, and he started pushing, especially I think it was on the corkscrew and not sure if turn 1.
Yeah, he was going way deep in turn 1.
Really late, and then he was losing more time than what he was gaining.
It can get frustrating as well when you know you can do a lap time, but then all of a sudden you're 2 seconds off it and you have no idea why.
Less than 6 minutes remaining. That's like 3-4 laps.
Yep, about right. 1:16, about, yeah. Probably about 2 minutes 30 for 2 laps.
Langan's gonna be on the borderline of completing 100 laps.
What laps are he on at the minute? 100 and... not 100. Oh, he's on 93.
Yeah.
He might,
you know,
get like 98 or something.
He actually gained another second on pit time on Siggy on that last pit stop. Pit time of Siggy was 2 minutes and 37 seconds, whereas Langan's was 2 minutes and 35 seconds. That's total pit time of the 5 stops they've both had.
Well, every little helps. I know, not in this case, it probably doesn't. But if he was, if he was kind of battling someone else and he was only a couple of seconds behind, then yeah. At 2 hours and 24 minutes to go seems like a long time ago now.
Indeed.
But I mean, like you said earlier, this is a short endurance race.
Yeah. In terms of endurance racing, this is a short race. Whereas in terms of like normal races or common races, then it's a pretty damn long one.
I think as well, if you're used to doing like an hour and a half maybe, you think, oh, it's only an extra hour, but an extra hour is a long time when you're driving around the circuit like this.
Yeah, if you're used to something like F1 and you drive for an hour and a half, that's like 100% race distance of F1. And you think, it's less than an hour more. But then when you think about it, when you finish the F1 race, you're pretty tired already. So adding an extra hour to that, it's pretty harsh. And then on the other hand, when you look in terms of endurance racing, people are doing 2 and 3 hour stints.
And sometimes double stinting as well.
So this is like nothing for them.
Probably doesn't help that these cars aren't the easiest things in the world to drive either.
True. And track doesn't, I mean, that corkscrew, that's gotta be, I mean, Siggy's gone past that corkscrew 107 times now.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty bad when you say it that way, but it's true.
There's not like really any chance for a breather around this track either as well, it's turn after turn after turn. Whereas
I was
if
actually
you were
thinking about that when I was considering racing myself and commentating from on board, I was thinking, where on earth am I actually going to commentate? Because the longest straight, you barely put in 6th gear, so there's not really, and even that, you're still kind of turning left slightly.
Yeah.
In the meantime, 2 minutes remaining.
Indeed, 142. But yeah, I mean, if you was at somewhere like Spa or Le Mans, there's massive straights on there. We can actually not have to worry about doing anything for a bit, other than, oh gee, Siggy almost binned it with a minute and a half to go there. You can just drive down these straights and have some sort of breather. There's not corner after corner after corner.
If you look at it the other way though, that helps concentrating though.
Well,
The
yeah.
fact that you can't breathe, you're just having to concentrate on the next corner after corner after corner. Whereas in Spa, if you just drive flat out for like a kilometer or 2, by the time you get to the end of the straight, you're like, did I have to brake there?
Now, is Siggy going to slow it down and make this the final lap? Or will he go for one more?
Langhans is really going to be on the borderline of 100 laps.
Langhans is going to get one more lap in, I think.
96 laps completed for Langhans.
Yeah, Langhans will get one more in. And here comes Siggy, about to finish off lap 109. He will go on to do 110 laps. Five seconds remaining. 3, 2, 1, and that is timer hit 0. Everyone needs to finish their final laps. And then finally take a well-deserved rest.
Last lap from Siggy was a 117.4. Less than a second from his best lap.
I was going to say, it's still pushing even
And
after 2.5 hours.
Did a 125.1. That's only 0.4 from his fastest lap. So he's really found his pace.
He's not quick, he's consistent.
If you're negative, you would say he's consistently slow. But if you're positive, you would just say he's consistent.
Well, look where it's got him.
Well,
I know he's 12, 13 laps down, but he's in second and he's about to finish his race.
It's all about laps completed.
As Siggy,
Langen's gonna complete 97, 98 laps, whereas Morad has pretty much done half.
Siggy comes across the line then, he takes victory after 2 hours, 25 minutes and 7 seconds, 395 kilometers driven. And Langan manages to take second, yeah.
Did you just calculate kilometers or what?
No, I have a thing that comes up on the UI.
Ah, nice.
But
397.
395.7.
Wow. Yeah, that's like 2 races on F1.
Yeah.
Because I think it averages at around 200 kilometers per race.
But major props to those guys managing to go for 2.5 hours, despite the fact that it was just those two for the last hour.
Wow.
Wasn't the most exciting race, but surprise result, I think. Especially if you looked at Langan on lap 1 and said, yeah, he's going to finish second, you'd just get laughed at.
Well, like I said, I did mention, like, when there was an hour or 2 left, well, an hour and a half left, and I did think about it at the beginning, you know, Langan's might be... I think I did mention it when he was, like, 4th, when Lopez and Morad were still racing. But yeah. Endurance racing, you don't need to be amazingly fast. If you're really consistent, you can finish on top.
So, official results then. Siggy was first, 110 laps, Langens was second, 11 laps down, and then it was Latifi, 46 laps down, Lopez, 60 laps down, then Stov, 74 laps down, and Wendt finished it off on 80 laps down. Congratulations to Siggy for doing what he did. I mean, that was impressive.
Flawless. Yeah, flawless. And congratulations to Siggy to finish where he did. I mean, that was really impressive to keep hold of that.
It was indeed. So shut up, announcer. That was 2 hours 24 minutes of Laguna Seca, and Siggy was your winner, followed by Langhams, who was 11 laps down. So, thank you for joining us, those of you who have managed to stick with us for the past 2.5 hours whilst we rambled on about the most random stuff we could think of to try and fill out the time when there was only 2 drivers left. And I'm sure we'll be setting something up soon again, hopefully. I don't know what it'll be yet, but soon.
Yeah, you all gotta keep in mind it was 2 hours, 2 hours 24 minutes for us commentating as well.
But yeah, we shall be back again. Keep an eye on the channel. Hopefully Saturday also gets multiplayer and we can start getting some funky stuff out of the next car game as well, don't forget about that. But until then, keep what was I going to say? Keep an eye on the forum, that's what I was going to say. And you might find some more events going on there, and we'll be spamming everywhere we can as well. But until then, we shall see you next time. Thank you for joining.